How do you balance a career and be a mother?
I think it could be all of it. I think that we can ask our viewers to tell us what they want to hear more about.
These green agents who just got their license, and here we are taking a risk and taking a shot because we want to grow this team because we had a lot of business, and then they come in. Welcome to our first episode. Thank you so much for joining us. Today, I'm going to be here with my co-host, Nadia Fakih, who is also my big sister. She is a real estate entrepreneur. She's been in the business for the past 20 years. She sells a lot of homes, and she's also has a lot of life experience, mother of 3 children, really trying to figure out how to balance a really successful real estate career, motherhood, and having a personal life. And so we're going to get into a little bit about having and growing a team. We're going to talk a little bit about, again, work-life balance and how we manage it all. And we're going to have some fun. So let's go. We opened the business. I had already finished law school. We opened a beauty business, a blow dry and makeup bar.
I had a restaurant, Sunset Boulevard, sold the restaurant, decided to go all in on Frisco, and then we decided to open this beauty bar.
I already had my real estate license, and I had finished law school. So here we are with this beauty bar. You have your MBA.
And my California real estate license.
And your license. I have had my real estate license since I was 18, and I finished law school, just spent, $100,000 on my law degree and passed the bar with 2 kids in tow, little babies in tow. We decide to open up a beauty business, and we find ourselves blow drying hair and doing makeup at 4 o'clock in the morning for like Indian brides, and the business was sinking. The business was failing.
Because of brick and mortar. The
brick and mortar.
The cost
really,
of brick and mortar was just crazy.
The rents were high.
Any business that we've had in the past, because we are entrepreneurs, our family comes from a background of businesses. Anything that requires paying rent and having to pay payroll taxes and manage the employees, and you have to be there at a specified...
When it's not a franchise, when it's this innovative thing that you come up with everything and you write the manual basically all by yourself. And, you have to essentially learn it all from scratch. It's so challenging.
It's so hard. And
the overhead can really make or break you.
So COVID gave us a break.
Yeah.
Because we genuinely could not work on people's faces and then touch their hair. With COVID, we shut down.
Uh-huh. And we had an excuse. But we needed to shut down.
But we needed to shut down. Yeah. We needed to get out of that business. It was really hard. It was not... It was also about time value of money. We could do makeup and make $150 a client, or we can sell a home and make $15,000.
No, I remember sitting there blow drying. There was some nasty hair, and I'm blow drying, and I'm like, I'm a lawyer, I have a law degree, what am I doing? And I'm just like, what am I doing with my life? And it just turned into this thing where we had to constantly, if the stylists weren't available, we had to show up and be there. And I was fighting with my husband 24/7 because he was really like, bad. What are you doing?
Same.
All we're doing is shelling out money. We're not getting anything in return.
Same.
And so we're like, why not just go back to what we know, what we've been doing for the past, at that point, it was like for the past 13 years of our lives.
Right. We grew up in it.
We grew up in real estate. We always did real estate. So mom finally went back to it.
Yeah.
Finally went back to it. And I think, so getting back to the whole point here is that we, I would say 2 or 3 years after that, this is about 2014, 2015, about around 2018, 2019, we start doing really, really well in real estate. And, the market's great, market's picking up. And we're like, we need to do some sort of a podcast because we've got young children and we are kicking ass in real estate.
And we're wives.
And we're wives, and we're balancing, a home life, and we're balancing this real estate career, and people are constantly coming to us and other agents, and they're asking us, how are you doing it all? How are you doing it all? And we really wanted to do this podcast, but I don't know about you. I felt like, okay, I don't want to be arrogant. I don't know if we're ready to really, poise ourselves as like the experts when it comes to this, right? Like, do we really have enough knowledge and enough success to really speak to this, on a large scale, on a stage? If we're going to do it, let's do it right. Let's be super intentional. Let's be really meaningful about it. Are we qualified to do that? And I feel like not until now, recently, when we figured out how to really balance work and life.
Well, we haven't really figured it out. I think we're still figuring it out as we go.
True.
But I think we have got a good like flow going now.
Yeah.
But let's be real. We've got divorce and a single mom, and then we've got you who grew the family, bigger house, different neighborhood, different businesses. Your husband has businesses as well that you are.
And it's not all. I mean, it's not all a bed of roses.
No,
I
it's
mean,
not. It is hard.
There's a lot of shit. There's a lot of shit.
Yeah.
And so you're right. We haven't figured it out. But we're figuring it out. We're figuring it out. And you're right in that I think that we finally have like a comfortable flow.
Right.
Where it's like I can take a vacation and not feel like the world is crashing down because we have a team.
Yep.
We're successful with our team.
Yes.
They're like our family. We went through a lot of craziness with the team. Why don't you get into that?
So, having a good team and having any organization. So if we take it back to being entrepreneurs, right? Like it's the same concept of like having an organization and making sure you're hiring the right type of talent and people understanding what type of services we can provide to them. And I want to go back to you saying, I don't know if we're qualified or we're not qualified. We grew up in real estate. Right. Our mother was a realtor for Century 21. I started working at 15 years old in the mortgage industry. You at 17 graduated from high school, went into college. At 18 years old, you were halfway done with your college career and got your real estate license. So this is kind of in our blood. So if the question is, are we qualified? I think we absolutely are qualified. If we had to go back and everyone uses data and numbers to quantify that.
I'm not trying to say that we're unqualified. I just think like to have a podcast, and with me, I like to really know if I do anything, if I'm answering a question, I research the hell out of that question before I give an answer, right? Even when we're asking on the team chat, do you know about being in a water conservation district? I'm over here in the back on Google like, let me find out what a water conservation district is and what it is that we need to do before I respond, because I'm not just going to guess, right?
Yeah, and it's hard to know everything. Real estate is there's so many different
We're not going to know everything, but
let me just continue my thought here. Okay. So it's the experience that we have, and then you couple that with the entrepreneurial background that we've had, having several different, businesses, brick and mortars, and having to be like HR and the presidents and know how to hire. When we came into this real estate, into Compass specifically, and Niche was formed, there was only 3 of us, right? Mm-hmm. And then we began to build a team, and trying to find a good team was really difficult because I feel like you and I have been with RE/MAX, Century 21, Keller Williams. You had
Better Homes and Gardens, Realty Executives, right. EXP, like you name it.
We understood the value of having a tech company and real estate company combination with the luxury brand, and we were so happy to be with Compass and for them to provide that platform because it coincided with who we were somehow, right? Mm-hmm. And so having the agents that came in that were green or who has never had experience in another brokerage, I think it was tough to find a groove for us because we're like, you don't even know what we're providing you with. These tools are amazing.
Yeah.
We've went through
that was definitely the biggest challenge with building a team in the beginning, is that we didn't realize that if we brought people on who had not been in the industry before and who were not seasoned onto Compass, they don't know what they have.
They don't know
how lucky they are,
they
right?
Were so lucky.
To have all of the marketing center, and all of the tools that we have, the resources, the
client
budget.
Concierge. We have, if I need to print flyers, I can call the concierge off. I mean, it's
all these resources at our fingertips. Then you have these green agents who just got their license, and here we are taking a risk and taking a shot because we want to grow this team because we had a lot of business, and then they come in and they just nagging and just dissatisfied and unhappy and just like FOMO, like what if it's better over there? What if it's better over there? Because they don't know what good is.
Yeah. So I'm not trying to say that those people were not amazing. They're amazing people. We love them. It was a good experience, I think, for everyone all the way around. I feel like, the team that we have is amazing. Everyone's like family. We're doing really well. But the most important part of having an organization is being able to support one another. And in order for us to have the lifestyle that we want to have, which is spending time with our children on the weekends, going to games. We have to have a partner that we could rely on. And what we're doing right now is we're trying to just kind of be all of it. We have to be the good business person. We have to be the good mother. We have to be a good mentor, because we are mentors to a lot of agents right now. And we want to make sure that there is a good balance. And I think that's where we are right now.
Finally,
would you agree?
Is that we have a good, but I think it's also because so we weeded out the people who, like you said, they're great. They just didn't work for our culture, right? And we've got a funky little culture, right?
Yeah, we
do. We're really different. We're all over the place. It's pretty chaotic. I mean, I can understand why it's difficult for people to keep up with all of our stuff. But with these guys who feel like family, I think that they have a few things in common, and that's why we work so well together, is they bounce back super easy. So they're super resilient people, right? They don't get their feelings hurt easily. We could be really blunt. You are known for being a little bit of a bitch.
Yeah, I am. I have a hashtag no filter, and sometimes I am a bitch.
And you have zero tolerance.
Zero tolerance for inefficiency, and I have.
Give me an example.
Ignorance.
I'll give you an example.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm just thinking of an example. If somebody calls you and asks you something, you're just like, "Did you just ask me that? Did you just ask me that?" No, like that is not a question that I'm going to sit here and give you my fucking time to answer.
Yeah,
like And I'm like, damn.
I just don't have time.
You could be very, very.
I know.
I'm a little nicer.
Now, are you? Are you though? Did you hear a giggle?
Did you
hear a giggle in the background? I don't know. Sarah,
I think I'm pretty nice.
Listen, I'm
pretty damn nice.
With your being an attorney and being able to think 10 steps ahead. You're having a conversation and you already know the subject, the content, and the actual
answer that I want.
Yeah,
like the answer that I want.
You know where you're going.
It to me. And you're giving it to me. Yeah.
And the facial expressions, you can't even hide them.
Yeah.
When someone's calling, this is you. You're like you just can't. You're like, I'm like. And the eye rolling.
Okay, when I say nice, getting back to what I'm talking about here. The reason why it works, so yeah, you've got really resilient people who have thick skin and they don't get their feelings hurt very easily. But I think we're very, very kind. What they also have, okay, and what they also have is in common is that they are busy with their families. They have young children.
Right.
And we can relate to them.
Right.
And we have a certain level of compassion for them.
And respect.
That they're hustling, they're grinding. And so there's a different level of respect for these agents who are really trying to juggle all of these things. And so we want to give them support. Right. And so we do things like hiring an assistant to help them with all of the little things that they might not have time to do, which they can take that time and really spend it with their families. You know what I mean? So they do have young families, but that also means that they value quality time, which is really, really important. You know, they understand not to be nitpicky when it comes to what we have going on, because they're too busy to worry about that shit.
Yeah.
So they know that we're too busy to worry about that shit.
Yeah, they don't have time on their hands to sit here and judge us.
Yes, exactly.
Okay?
Exactly.
Instead,
expect all
have
this from us.
Unrealistic
They're too busy doing what
because they are in the same boat as we are.
Exactly.
Right? So I think what's important when you have an organization and to be able to have a successful team is to have people who are in very similar home life situations and have values that align with your values and who are understanding. They do not have an ego. You are able to work together in harmony, and there is no greed when it comes to making money.
No greed. And that's the other, I would say that's number 3.
Yeah.
But I mean, in no particular order.
No particular order. I'm just saying it.
The greed thing
will kill you. I mean, we've lost team members because of greed. Yeah.
Because of greed. I would say that is my number one pet peeve in this business. And I think that the people who are super successful and they're greedy, like, I believe that one day their day will come. It's only a matter of time.
Yeah.
That pisses me off more than anything.
Yeah.
Is when they're counting their money, counting their commission before they're thinking about their client's best interests, before they're thinking about their team members and teammates and their situation. Ooh.
Man, you and I used to bust our asses at RE/MAX for 30 and 40% after they took out their taxes and their broker fees.
Mm-hmm.
So we would do $1 million transaction and walk away with $5,000. And we were so grateful.
So grateful.
And we were so happy.
You know, because those weren't our clients.
They were not. We didn't procure those
were leads that they and we understood because we had own businesses.
Yes.
The work that it took to get those.
To that.
Yes.
Yeah, to get to that point.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't just roll off a dump truck and have a ton of clients.
Mm-hmm.
It took us years to cultivate, nurture, and possess the knowledge that we have to make these customers
to be qualified,
comfortable,
yeah.
and trust us with this process.
Mm-hmm.
So if I take a client who I worked hard, just because I make it look easy does not mean that it was not hard work.
Right.
It's my qualifications, it's the edification, it was all the things that may have led up to me getting that client, and then I pass it on to a teammate because I don't have time. Please go and show this client homes. Here's a listing from so-and-so.
And they think that shit just fell from the sky and fell into your lap.
It's so easy. I'm sorry.
You're so lucky. How do you have all these clients?
I don't think, you know what my biggest pet peeve is? I would say that just gets under my skin when someone says, oh, you're so lucky you closed 5 deals this month. I'm so lucky. Yeah. I work 13 hours a day. I sleep 5 hours.
Yeah.
And I have to look for sitters and someone else to help me with my kids. And at this moment, I don't have a spouse that can help me out.
Right.
It's you. You're like my little wife.
Yeah.
I literally call you up and I ask you to
I like that you call me your wife and not your husband.
Yeah, that's great.
Because you be the husband and I be the wife?
Yeah, that's probably
okay.
Right. She's my little wifey. Kind of hot. Hot little thing. So cute.
Okay,
Anyways,
I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
So literally, I have to depend on other people, and it's hard not being there to pick up my kids some days. And then, I'll never forget one day you said to me, you can't just cancel that meeting. Your kids haven't seen you in 2 days, and don't you want to be there to pick them up so they can see you? And I'm like, I would love to be there, but I have a bunch of bills that I need to pay, and I need to go show this house right now. And it's like, what do you do? It's so hard. And no one understands the sacrifices that we make and the time that it takes to do the volume that we do. So just because we're posting on Instagram, or we take time to scroll, or if you see us for a moment doing
talking
something
about
fun.
Kangaroos on
talking
Instagram
about
for an hour. Like, why does this bitch have so much time to talk about kangaroos? Listen, that was me time.
We need to shut it
That was my
off.
me time.
We need to shut up. You didn't text. I swear I'll get a message sometimes like, hey, waiting for your response, because they just saw that I posted a bunch of stupid shit on Instagram. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to feel guilty that I skipped over my 15 messages that I need to get back to, so that I can just numb my brain for a few minutes to aimlessly scroll or do whatever it is that I want to do to shut it off for a second. That's my time.
Yeah.
Don't judge me.
But that used to be we used to be so anxiety ridden, right?
When we would look at everyone,
and it was like this like constant feeling of like trying to keep your head above the water, And you're right. I feel far more relaxed.
Yeah, I'm
now.
like, I don't care.
I just got a text message, about a house from a client who's like, I want to see this, and I'm like, shoot, I'm going to be in Vegas this weekend. And I'm like. I'll get you afterward. And it's okay.
And it's hard.
And you know what? It's not that I'm not going to make this client an absolute priority. Yeah. It's not that I'm not going to kill it for them and, make sure that I represent them in the best way possible. It's just that you've got to have
a balance,
some balance and some boundaries in order to have the energy and the wherewithal to continue to do this for your clients.
So let's talk about your trip to Europe.
Oh,
I want to talk about that a little bit, because
that was fun.
I would say that not many people would be able to or have the opportunity to take up, especially when you're doing 50 million a year, 30 million a year in sales. That is a lot. That's a big number, and everyone knows, and especially because we're in Dallas, so it's not like we're in California doing 50 million a year.
Yeah, it's a lot more.
You're in Dallas doing
volume,
50 million a year. So you're one of the top producers in Frisco, and then you look at the team and you're like, hey, y'all, I'm taking my children and I'm going to Europe, and I'm going to go for a month. And I'll tell you, there's a lot of haters. There's a lot of people that follow that were like, how does she do it? No, she doesn't care. But I know for a fact that when you came back and before you left, what you went through to make sure that you were able to table whatever it was that you were working on, and what you were doing while you were in Europe.
Yeah, I put 2 deals in escrow while I was in Europe, and we had a couple closings.
Literally busted your ass.
But that's because of my team.
Yes.
My team. I think I could not have taken a month off. So I took a month off. I looked at a map and I was like, I've always wanted to go to Spain. I think really what motivated me to do it is our best friend, got breast cancer while she was pregnant, and watched her for 3 years go through that struggle, and was there with her for every chemo treatment, and was really put myself in her position and thought to myself, like, what would it be if I'm spending this time with my kids and it's the last time? You don't know. You don't know when it's over.
We just found out a few days ago that one of our children, they play basketball. One of the kids
he
died tragically in an accident.
11 years old.
Yeah, 11-year-old kid.
Yeah.
And it's
you just never know.
And there's a lot of people around us that we've lost that are our age, with children our age. I watched a friend literally die in front of my eyes not too long ago.
Yeah.
And I mean, this
was just a couple months ago.
We know that we have forever, but do we have forever?
No, we don't.
Who
have
has forever?
So basically, I was like, look, I'm going to take a month off. I want to go to Spain.
Yeah.
I looked at a map and I'm like, we're going to go here, 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 here. So we did all south of Spain. We went to, we started in Madrid. We went to Sevilla. We went to Alhambra. Marbella, we went to Morocco. We took a ferry to Morocco, then we went to France, and then we did a little tour of Italy, Amalfi Coast, Florence, whatever. 1 month, okay? Took the kids, and I was like, F it. Got some great hotel deals, planned it within a week, and planned it like 2 months before we left.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm taking a full month. And people thought I was absolutely crazy. But I tied up everything that I needed to tie up. I teed everything up for my team. Yeah. Finally, I think that there's no time that I could have done this, except for last year was the first time I would have had the ability to do that, considering the amount of volume that we were doing.
Yeah, it was.
But you were home. We made sure that we were both.
Yeah, I was.
You were home. You were in the city. Yeah. You were home, and the rest of the team was there. And we try not to both be out of the country at the same time.
Yeah,
right?
We work together.
And I set everything up. I let the clients know that, hey, this is what I'm planning on doing, but this is Danny, or this is Eleni, or this is Nadia. They're going to take it from here. I'm still reachable. I was still taking phone calls and writing contracts while I was there. But for the most part, I was able to relax. And it's because I finally had the confidence in the team that we've built, and it took years to get here, to be able to do something like that.
100%.
And that's the beauty of real estate. It is the type of career that
gives you the freedom.
That gives you the freedom because you make your own schedule. And so I scheduled it so I had that month. Now, when I came back, I was relaxed, and I took off. And
you were grinding.
Work hard, play hard, right? Yeah. Work hard, play hard. I teach my kids that all the time.
I went to Dubai for 2 weeks, and literally, if it wasn't for my team, there was just no way that I could have done that trip. There's no way.
Absolutely.
And it was what an experience.
And to have the team that, they don't have resentment towards you when you do that. No. It's not like you're leaving them with a bunch of crap.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of that. I know that sometimes Tiffany and Gloria, maybe they want to kill us, but but for the most part, it's like, they've got our backs because we've got their backs.
Yes.
It's like we've got each other's backs, and that's what a good team is about. It's about having each other's backs.
Right. So what would you say is the most important thing about having a solid team?
The most important
thing about having a solid team. For you, as a successful realtor.
Oh God, that's such a, can you be more specific?
Yeah,
to
me, the most
key?
important thing of having a team is giving me the freedom to spend with my family. That's the most important thing about having a team.
Okay.
Because what we do...
what does a team give you that's like the most valuable, basically?
It gives me the ability to spend time with my family, which is priceless.
100%.
It has nothing to do with commission splits or this teammate brings me more money or they're able. Had nothing to do with.
That was never even a thought.
I know. I'm just
when
saying,
we started a team. I think that
we don't take fees
No, it's flat fees. A lot of people don't agree with that. Even our brokers, like, what are you doing? You guys are smoking crack.
Or significant others.
Yeah, or significant others being like,
are
you going to monetize off this or what? And we do monetize, but monetize does not just mean financially, money monetize, right? Like, I feel like, just being able to do just that, spend a month in Europe, or go to at my kid's soccer game,
be at my son's basketball game.
Exactly, that's the most valuable thing.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
To me, that's what it is.
When we started the team, okay, and I think that the goals have evolved. The goals have evolved with the team. But when we started, it was not to make residuals and to take a portion of their commission.
That's not our business model.
That's not our business model. Everybody has a different business model.
Everybody has a different business model, and we respect everyone's business model.
Right.
But for us,
it was about being able to spend more time with our family and have a better work-life balance. That's why we had it, because we were taking on a lot of business. We knew that we couldn't clone ourselves and we couldn't be in 10 places at once. And so we wanted to have people who we could rely on, and then also support them,
same way that
they're supporting us, so that we could take on more business, right? And that was really the goal of the team. And honestly, it might have changed and shifted a little bit here and there. And I think maybe team members that we hired on had different goals.
Yeah.
But I think now with our current team, I think that's everybody's goal.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's
Danny's goal. Yeah. That's Eleni's goal.
Well, Danny has 2 babies. Eleni just had baby twins, and she has a daughter, 3 kids.
4-year-old and then 2 6-month-olds. They all need each other.
We definitely can have a nursery of our own.
We could just open up a daycare.
Yeah, we can.
Maybe that's what we do next.
I don't know. Maybe the niche real estate niche
daycare.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But
niche care.
I will also say the other support that we have recently, as of last year, I would say, was getting like a nanny and somebody at home that can help us so that we can run out at last minute we got a new development.
Well, hugely helpful for you because you're now a newly single parent. So you need a wife.
Yeah. Can't be you because you're too busy. But and also you have someone now, and I do
have someone who's helping out.
Because a lot of people will send me messages and they're like, how do you do it? Because my story goes from me being at a design center to previewing a house to being at my kid's game to doing, literally it's like, how do you do all this? Gym, this, that, how do you...
There's 4 outfit changes in the day.
Yeah.
You start off with your gym clothes, all of a sudden you're showered and you're like, I'm at the office. Yeah. The next thing you know, you're on a construction site and you got cowboy boots on. And then you're back home at the kids' games wearing, sporty clothes again.
Yep.
So then your pajamas.
Yeah, and then you might have a little kid dancing for entertainment, But I think that having help is obviously very important because it's your time value of money. And
a lot of people, I think this is why it's so important, and I think it's going to be really helpful for people in this podcast. And I really want to, we haven't figured out exactly what the focus is, right? Is this a real estate podcast where we're giving people advice on how to buy and sell homes? Is this a agent-to-agent podcast when we're teaching people, giving them some advice on, or giving and getting advice on how to be, a better agent? Or is this more of like a how do you balance a career and be a mother?
I think it's okay to be kind of all of it.
Those things?
I think it could be all of it. I think that we can ask our viewers to tell us what they want to hear more about.
Yeah.
The work-home life balance. How do we... we're also psycho people that grew up with very militant families that have to have a house that looks like a model 24/7, and that is very difficult, I think, to maintain because we
it's very stressful.
We put that stress on ourselves, and it's just how we were raised. We wake up, we make up our bed. We don't leave the house until the house looks completely spotless. We don't go to bed with dishes in the sink, and people are like,
that for sure.
You bitches are crazy. How can you do that?
Yeah.
We are those people, and there's a lot of people that I know that have similar values and little idiosyncrasies, and I think that we can talk about how we've learned to balance all of these things and what are our secrets, you know? And if someone wants to also hear a little bit more about, like we talked about the team, So let's just recap.
Team building. How do you build a successful team? Yeah.
What's important to us in a team? What our kind of financial model is and our values are in our real estate business.
Yeah.
And then a little bit, again, about
home buying, selling advice.
Yeah, home buying, selling advice.
How to get pre-qualified. Is now a good time to buy? How do you sell your ugly-ass house that doesn't have any windows?
Or has foggy windows and ugly blinds.
Yeah.
Or furniture that doesn't match.
Yeah, I think it could definitely be a combo. Back to the having help thing, and the thing is that people might say, well, it's easy for you to say because you're making so much money or whatever, and look, it ebbs and it flows in real estate. Yeah. When it's good and it
might go
can be
2
great.
months without getting paid.
Exactly.
But then I get paid on like 5 deals, and I'm like, whoa, but that money's spent.
That money's been done spent.
That money's been done spent. The money comes in the account and then it goes right back out of the account.
The point, I think, more the bigger point is it's about delegating whatever you can to free up your time as much as possible. Even if it's having somebody help with laundry once a week, that will save you hours. How many hours would you spend doing it? I don't touch laundry now.
I don't touch it.
Until I hired someone to start doing laundry, I would say that I would I would have about 8 to 10 loads, 5 people in the household, and I don't know why my little one needs to have costume changes constantly. So I have all this laundry. And I would spend easily 10 hours a week doing laundry.
Can't do it.
10 hours a week doing laundry? Like what?
Refuse to do laundry.
I could be doing so many things. Yeah.
I can't do it.
Yeah.
I won't. That and, there's a few other little tedious time-consuming tasks that I have delegated. And I will say one of the most important things that I have delegated in order to be producing the numbers that I'm producing right now is having a transaction coordinator that doesn't allow me to touch a piece of paper.
Well, she doesn't allow you to because she's like, you're going to screw this.
So every time I try to write an offer, she's like, oh, Nadia, you're so cute. You're trying to write this offer. And she's so sarcastic and she's so funny.
She's hilarious.
She's like, please do not try. And then every time I
relief.
Yeah, it's hilarious. So that helps that she's really funny because I'm constantly cracking up every time I try to do something. But she is a licensed agent who is extremely savvy when it comes to
the bottom line is that contracts
compliance
are not. Compliance is really not your strength. At least you know that it's not your strength.
I'm client facing.
You're willing to pay someone who is better than you to do that. And that is also a really important element of having a team. And you mentioned earlier about, you have people who are in the same boat as you or whatever in life. And being in the same boat and having similar life experiences, or even if they were in that boat at one period of time so they can really empathize with that, super important. But that is completely separate from having team members who have very different skill sets than your own.
100%.
And that really is the key to having a successful team.
Strengths and weaknesses. You're good at
what you're good at, you know what you suck at, and you try to find those people to
fill in the gaps.
Mm-hmm. And you're okay with letting go.
Yeah.
And letting them do their thing and letting them shine where they shine, because you know that you're not very shiny.
Oh yeah,
I'm
going to relinquish all kinds of contract stuff to Tiffany all day long. I am horrible at that stuff, and my time is not best spent behind a computer. My time is best spent on the road in my car, making sure that I'm on job sites, checking on my listings, going to showings, showing houses. Even showing houses has been recently not my thing. Depending on the client, I had to, again, time value of money. I asked my teammates, hey, can you show houses for me?
Yeah.
Because driving around and showing houses.
When you say depending on your client, I mean okay, if you've got an investor client and they're trying to see multiple houses in the $500,000 price range, and they're looking at this as this is just a financial thing. This is not, maybe you can easily delegate that to a teammate. But if it's a client who you have to paint the picture, right?
Well, not just sales, right? We also pride ourselves in being the agents that who are not these starving salespeople.
Right.
And we will walk into a house, and if we wouldn't purchase that house, we would not sell that house.
Absolutely.
So they will 100% look to us to help them make that decision. So I have to go see it. I actually put a house under contract last week.
Yeah.
That I have never seen. Which is, I don't do that.
Yeah.
But it was one of those situations where they went straight to the builder. They wanted me to represent them. They knew that I wasn't available. They wrote the contract. They sent the contract over. I had Tiffany review the contract. And finally yesterday, I had a minute and I went to go walk the property because we still have some outs in the contract, and I just wanted to make sure that I laid eyes on the property. I walked the property, and I was very impressed. I mean, do I think they overpaid? Yeah, I think they kind of overpaid for that property, and I wish that that they consulted with me prior to them putting it under contract.
But did they love the house?
Now they want to rent it out.
Oh, snap.
So again, had I been involved from the beginning and laid eyes on that property, that's where my time is best spent.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
So that's what I should have been doing. Just taking it back to when I should be present. I know when I need to be present and what is important, but showing like you said, an investor multiple properties and the 500 price point.
It's like they know that it needs 3 bedrooms, it needs to have 2 bathrooms, the layout has to be decent, and if it needs a lot of work or if it needs a little bit of work, or So essentially, and the thing is, you have an option period usually, so you can say, hey, if we need to rush to get this under contract, worst case scenario, if their numbers didn't check out.
But Sarah, it took time to understand our value, and it took time to learn when to relinquish the control and how to delegate, right? And that comes with experience. And I think there was a point in time where I needed to be there for everything all the time. And I had to be with my clients all the time. And now, I've gotten to a point where, almost and this has been recent, every hour of my day is booked. Like I actually took off today for this podcast, forgot about it. And then when you reminded me yesterday, which is great because now I just go to my calendar every day. Okay, what am I doing today?
Okay, that's the way it's supposed to be. Yo, did you just start using your calendar?
I just started using my calendar.
Oh my God, my whole life is on my calendar.
Hour
by hour.
But there was a point in my life where everything it's real estate and its time is up the essence.
Things change. Things change.
I could not be stuck to a calendar because that's just not how my business works. If I had to go quickly and choose something at Florida, or how am I supposed to have? So it got to a point where now I have a little flow, okay, and I do use my calendar. And I rely heavily on my calendar, but I'm constantly having to move things around during the day because of the industry that we're in is very hard.
I mean, look, you have to be willing to move things around and to at the drop of a dime, be it a property or whatever and all of that. But you've got to have an outline of how your week is going to look, and when you have a meeting with a builder or whatever, like those things need to be calendared.
Those things.
Podcast.
Right.
Needs to be calendared.
Yes, a podcast
regularly.
Needs to be I did. I calendared it.
Because we got to get to 20. We got to get past 20 in order to be successful, and that's what Rico said.
Because somebody told me that a lot of people, when they do podcasts, they only make it to like episode 3. I want to be a podcaster.
Yeah.
I want to make it more. I want to make it past 3. Do you think people are going to like us and want to watch us?
I mean, I like you.
You like me?
Kind of sometimes.
No, you don't.
For the most
you kind
part.
of told me yesterday you don't like me that much.
We're sisters.
I know.
I mean, sometimes.
Okay, let's talk a little bit. Let's
talk
talk a little bit about being sisters and working together in business.
When have we not worked together in business?
We've always worked together in business. But is it hard working with your sister in business?
No.
If it was hard, do you think we'd still be here?
No, it's not hard working with my sister. Hard. I mean, look, are there challenges? I think there are some challenges, but I think that it's easier than it is hard. You know what I mean?
I do too.
Because we can kind of read each other's
energies
and minds and and
complete each
and
other's
we usually
sentences.
Have the same goals, right?
We do.
And so that's super
an
helpful.
Outlook.
Yeah, an outlook
on certain things.
And if you're you're hell bent on something, or if you've got I can sway you and vice versa, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's really good. We're kind of like each other's voice of reason, and so it works. I think it works really well. Do we bicker?
Yes, we do. It's only natural. We're sisters.
Totally, we totally bicker. Does personal life get involved in business sometimes?
Yeah, it does.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Have we grown and kind of evolved in the last maybe 5 years? And then our children have grown and then they've evolved and now we have like this completely different relationship than we'd had when we were best friends growing up?
I mean, that was a lot. I'm going to go ahead and say yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and say yes. No, we've absolutely grown and evolved, for sure.
We were each other's best friends. We used to have friends that would get jealous because I would go, if I had to go get my nails done, I'd be like, Sarah, come, let's go get our nails done.
Because you don't need your friends, because I'm your built-in best friend.
Built-in best friend. She's my sister. She's right there.
And they would get
hop in
jelly.
the car and they would get
sure.
jelly.
Yeah.
And then remember we'd like do
like,
things
you don't
together.
give me time. You don't make me a priority. We're like, cancel that, friend. We don't got time for that shit.
Yeah.
I am not trying to maintain, this is like too much maintenance, too much upkeep.
This is interesting.
Yeah, this is too much upkeep.
Maintaining friendships.
Oh my God, I'm the worst. I used to be the worst at that, and you were so good. I would just take your friends. It was so much easier.
Yeah, it was so easy. All my friends became your friends, and now even my best friend is actually probably closer to you now, and
because our husbands are best friends,
which is fine.
And business partners.
You can have my best friend. There's no resentment there.
Yeah. I was like, okay, so there's a little bit of.
So you can take my best friend, whatever.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, it's like it's hard to maintain friendships. I think recently, especially after my divorce, I realized how important it was because you lose yourself a little bit in your marriage, you change, and then all of a sudden I came out of my marriage and I was like, wait, who am I?
Yeah.
Who are my friends? Where do I fit? Wait, what are you guys doing? I want to go. Wait, what's happening over there? Wait, am I okay to go? Should I not go? I mean, it was
What's
really
the proper
weird.
etiquette here?
Yeah.
Am I inviting myself? Is this weird? Am I a third wheel?
I didn't know what to do. And I really found myself lost for a minute. And I was totally engulfed in real estate. And real estate was like to the point where you were just like, you're annoying because all you do is talk about real estate and I want to shut it off and just chill. And I couldn't.
Yeah, it was super annoying.
So annoying.
I think that it became very apparent in your marriage, to me at least, that you were having some serious issues because you would drown yourself in your work in order to avoid
going home.
Yeah, being home with your family.
Yeah.
Because, and not the kid, you just didn't want to be in that environment, and so you were just like consumed in real estate. And which you were super successful. You were on this.
I was on this high,
train.
Man. I was making.
You were getting the feeling of
money.
Importance and everything.
I was
from
being
your work.
validated.
You were being validated
by my
at work,
peers.
and you were not being validated at home, and so you didn't want to be home.
I didn't want to be home.
100%. And that's the thing. You were extreme. It was too extreme. You had no personal life.
Yep.
And your ex-husband started building up a bunch of resentment towards you because you were always working.
Yeah. So there was that. And then all of a sudden I found myself it's been a year and a half now. I found myself actually like going, I want to go places.
Yeah.
And I have a weekend free and I want friends and where do I go and what do I do? I got invited out last night and I was like, you know what? I kind of want to Netflix and chill. I have the option to go out or Netflix and chill. But I mean, it's just trying to find a balance. Again, I think that every day it's really important to shut it down, and it's very hard when you're going live on a listing and you're trying to check Zillow to see how many views and how many saves and how many clicks it got within one day. And there's just so many things that are happening. I just want to shut it off and just relax sometimes. And it's really tough to do when we are in such a demanding position because real estate time is of the essence. We have to get an offer in. The offer has to be submitted by noon because there might be multiple offers, and then we might lose out on that property. And it doesn't stop. We don't clock in. We don't clock out. Our job follows us.
If you don't set limitations and boundaries for yourself, then you can work 24/7.
Yeah.
You can not sleep. There is no end to the work that you can do in real estate.
100%.
So you have to shut it
Yep,
off. You have to be disciplined.
Yeah.
And
you have to make time for friends, and you have to make time for trips, and you have to make time for all those things.
And your kids, and you've got to make time for all of those things. And no one's going to come up with a schedule for you. You have to be disciplined enough to do that for yourself. And that's probably one of the biggest challenges. And a lot of agents will ask me that. Like, how do you have this work-life balance?
I think I get that question
constantly.
Once a week, somebody says, how do you do all of this?
Well, and how much time should I be dedicating to my CRM? Like, how much time should I be dedicating to calling my clients, and checking in on them, or my warm network, How much time should I be spending networking? How much time should I spend? When should I? What does a typical work day, look like? What is it supposed to look like? Especially new agents, right? There's so much freedom in real estate that it's very difficult for people who are not disciplined to figure out what a regular work schedule, whatever regular means, whatever a work schedule should look like. And it is important to schedule your work,
Yeah, I know.
and also
Yeah.
schedule in your life, your personal life.
Right.
I think that's really the biggest challenge of real estate.
yeah.
Because you feel like you're not doing enough a lot of the time.
Yes.
And that anxiety can really get the best of you.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for watching and joining us today. We're going to have a lot of different guests on the show, other agents, people from the mortgage industry, and just different people in the community that can give us a little more insight into work-life balance, real estate, advice about buying, selling homes, and how to really show up and be the best agent possible while still having your personal life at the same time. Make sure you like us, you subscribe, and you join us for the next show.